There you go.
All right. I have myself, Lauren Bennett, OCTC, Alan Sorensen, Orange County Planning Commissioner, Harry Poor, County Deputy Executive, Sandra Jobson from NISDOT, Burton Thielander from Vision Hudson Valley Pathways Committee, Emma Barrett, who is Orange County Planning Intern, Jacob Tawil, Jay Farr, not Jack Farr, the other.
Yes, hi, it's Jim.
Jim Farr, thank you, sorry. And you're representing the city of Port Jervis. John Ravella, Village of Walden. Katie Craig from WSP. Lizzie Phillip from the New York State Thruway Authority. Mike Sweden, Town of Warwick. Nicole Farmer from NISDOT. Olu Faloran from MTA. Rob Parrington, Orange County Planning. Scott Manley, Town of Newburgh. Supervisor Gerolman, is that Town of Blooming Grove?
Yes, Town of Blooming Grove.
Thank you. Travis Ewald, Orange County Department of Public Works. Zach Coleman, OCTC staff. And then David Lake from the Mid-Hudson South TCC. And then I have two phone numbers, one ending in 5800. Who is that, please?
I think that's me, Sandra Jobson from State DOT.
Thank you, Sandra. And then I have another phone number ending in 6677. Okay. Is there anyone else that we missed on the line today?
Okay, then we'll begin. First item is the opportunity for public comment, and I just want to make sure that everyone on this knows that this is the only time that the public will be able to speak during this meeting. So if you have something to say, now is your opportunity. Is there anyone who would like to say something?
My name is Bert Thielander. Could I make a question, comment now, or should I wait?
Nope, go right now. Now's your opportunity.
So thank you. I've participated as a Orange Vision Hudson Valley Pathways Committee member in past meetings, the last one being late January. And I just wanted to ask the OCTC to continue to support rail to trail opportunities with development plans, funding. Alan Sorensen and others engage in the Pathways Committee meeting. We had one this morning. There are some trail opportunities, one of which you're aware of, the Shenamunk, like Campbell, Chester to Campbell Hall Rail Trail. Alan and others have talked with us about the Minnesink Unionville Rail Trail that's had some barriers developed. There's also a Western Orange County O&W Rail Trail development that there's a feasibility study that's been funded by OSI. So we're trying to collaborate with Sullivan County on developing that rail trail. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up was the Pathways Committee has learned from Alan and the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference that there may be opportunities to extend the Heritage Trail from Middletown through Howells into Otisville into the Cutterbackville Deer Park area. So Alan knows a lot about that, but we'd like to ask the OCTC to be aware of those opportunities and promote funding and development of those opportunities. So thank you very much for your time. And then the last question I had was we'd like to find out about the completion. Forgive me for that. It's somebody calling on the phone, which I just ended. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, I would just say this, that for the record, County Executive Newhouse is very much an advocate for rail to trail. We have a number of projects that are going on right now, and we will continue to try to develop a trail system throughout the county. With that, Alan, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is that we also have a very strong focus on the active transportation piece. So connecting our rail trails to our communities through bike pedestrian enhancements, that's going to be a big focus for us in the year ahead, and excited about those opportunities.
Okay,
Yeah, and as I've said before, there's really a significant like global warming, climate crisis that we're all going to have to deal with. So I hope the Rail to Trail initiative will promote less use of vehicles that use gas. So thank you for listening.
okay, thank you. And is there any other public comment from anyone in the public? Now is the time. Okay,
Gary, I
hearing
have
none-
one.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
John Ravella, Village of Walden.
John,
I
yeah,
just wanted to make sure that a lot of our constituents in the village wanted to make sure that in this initiative, we're attempting, I know it's difficult to make an attempt to connect the Walden Walk-Hill Trail to the rest of the county, but we do connect to all of Ulster and from there to Dutchess. So I want to make sure that we keep that in mind when we're doing this work.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the accepting of the meeting transcript from January 25th, 2002. Can I have a motion from someone, please?
So moved.
Second? Okay, anybody?
I'll second Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, anyone? The transcript is accepted. Okay, the next item, number 4, is Transportation Improvement Program. I'm going to call on Lauren Bennett to give us some background and direction on that. Lauren?
Yes, so our first action is a draft administrative modification, OCTC 20W. It includes 2 projects for construction, the Town of Crawford Route 52 Pedestrian Safety Project, and PIN 876250, which is Town of Walk-Hill Twin Towers Middle School project. Both are proposing to roll the construction and construction inspection phases from 2022 to 2023. Both these projects have their own discretionary funding. I believe they're Safe Routes to School and TAP project, so they do not count against our local program targets. So the OCTC staff will reach out to the project sponsors, and there's no further action required from the committee. So here's the tip strips for the Town of Crawford project. You can see that they're just rolling the construction inspection, and then with the Walk Hill project.
Okay, any questions or comments from anyone on this? There's no action that needed to be taken today.
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the draft tip amendment 2013.
Yeah, so this is one project, and we're adding it's a New York bridge project. So it will be a new project going on the tip. It's an Orange County project to replace a structure at Hallstown Road over the Cromline Creek in the town of Blooming Grove. Again, this has its own discretionary funding, so it will not count against local targets, programming targets. So the amendment will go out for 14 days of public comment, and we'll seek action at the next policy board meeting.
Okay, again, any questions from anyone? If not, we'll ask Sandra Jobson to talk about the Orange County Transportation FFY 22 STIP performance status. Sandra?
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. We're having this quick, brief conversation with all of the NPOs in the Hudson Valley this month. We're halfway through the federal fiscal year for 2022. And as you guys know, FHWA annually looks at the tip and is basically looking at the unamended tip, which means that they look at the tip, a snapshot of it taken in October, this past October. And then in September of this year, they're going to say, okay, you said you were going to deliver, 10 projects. How many did you actually deliver to construction? And then you're given a percent. And a lot of people are looking at this, so it's important. So I thought it would be good, since we're halfway through the federal fiscal year, just to see how we're doing. And based on the number of projects that we thought we were going to deliver for construction this year, and maybe already pushed out, see what our highest achievable STIP performance would be for this year. And not too bad. I mean, at this point, we're halfway through, and the highest we could get is, around 80%. We still have 7 projects to deliver in the Hudson Valley. 2 of them are state projects, state DOT projects. The other 5 are local projects. Did I read that right? Yes, I think I did. Please, Nicole, jump in if I said anything wrong. And then the table below, well, that's the first table. That's basically OCTC's performance and where we're at halfway through the federal fiscal year. The second table, we thought you might be interested to see. That's all of Region 8 in the Mid-Hudson Valley, which includes Westchester County, Rockland, Orange, Dutchess, Ulster, and Columbia County. So you can see where we're at. And, OCTC is right in the ballpark of where we are sitting right now region-wide. We also thought it would be of interest for you to see historically where you've landed at the end of a federal fiscal year over the past 5 years. And, we're seeing this in most of the other MPOs, is a nice steady increase. We do believe last year was a bit of an anomaly with COVID and a bunch of municipalities being a little unsure about their financial situation and having to defer some projects. But we really want to be out of the red minimally. So when they do the statewide report, if you are below 50%, your rating is shown, your percentage of delivery is shown in red. If you're 50 or above, your report card goes to black. And really, ultimately, what we're striving for, I believe, is 70% or better. That's really like the ultimate goal obviously would be 100%. But I thought this might be of interest, especially since we're also moving into building a new tip. So everyone should be really keeping in mind that, delivery is important, not only the date, but also the amount. We're also rated on that. We thought for today's discussion, we would just talk about number of projects to keep it a little bit simpler. So thank you for giving me the opportunity just to share this with everyone. And if anyone has any questions, let me know.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you give us a broad stroke explanation as to why we aren't at 100%?
Yeah, because we've already pushed out. So if you look at the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th column across, it says number of projects moved out or deleted.
Yep.
We've already pushed out 2 projects. And I think that's the modification that you all just looked at. I think there was 2 projects that you were moving to next year for construction delivery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from members of the council? Okay, then I guess we'll.
Yeah, Harry, I'm sorry, Jacob here. I'm
Jacob,
sorry,
go ahead.
I'm driving, I'm on speakerphone, so no worries.
Well, be safe.
But yes, absolutely. It's very important what Sandra just presented to all of us in there. And that's what pretty much I keep, with all due respect to everyone, I keep repeating every meeting almost, to utilize all the funding that is available for us on the tip. So, we're gonna have like 2 requests for additional funding for the traffic operations. And I'm requesting that everybody just keep that, what Sandra just said, the overall performance of our organization is very important for allocating future funding and showing the state that we can deliver. So I just wanted to make that point. I appreciate it. Her points are very much and well taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment or ask a question? Okay, then we will move on to local project sponsor updates. Does anyone have some stories they'd like to share with us about their local projects?
Harry, it's Mike Sweeten. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
All right, so I've got this legacy bike hike trail thing, and we talked about the difficulties. I had 3 really good options to move this thing to completion. As you remember, we've bid it twice. The bids have come in way over what the engineers have projected. So we were looking for options. We thought we had a really good one in a acquisition the town was going to make of a piece of property that would connect to the county park. That's faced some difficulties recently. The landowners, it's a consortium. I think they're trying to play for more money. So I don't know where that's going, but that was option number 1 for us to move forward. Option number 2 was to see what part of the project our own staff could do, so we didn't run into overages. There's only about 380,000 left in the budget for construction on a bids that came in at about 890,000. So we're still looking to see what we can do there. Maybe even discuss with the county partnering to do a little bit of the trail development within the county park. So we'll be looking to have those discussions. The third option is not the best one, but is to seek the shortfall on the 2 bids, which is about 500,000. I've sent in a sponsor request for that. It's not my favorite option, but I put it out on the table, and we'll see where that goes. If there's any money that's not being used that could be allocated to it. So that's where it stands, and I continue to work on it.
Yeah, the county just acquired some property over by the park. It was accepted by the legislature last meeting. I'm not sure if that would help you or not at all.
I'll take a look at that. I don't know where it is, Harry, but I'll check.
Okay. All right. It
Thanks.
just passed last week.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Anybody else? Any comments? Okay, then let's move on to old business. Lauren, do we have any?
Actually, we have the tip development that we're covering. Oh, wait, no, that's new business. Sorry. Old business. No, we don't have any old business.
Okay, you just jumped up a little bit too fast, and now we're going to the tip development, fiscal year 23-27 tip development. Lauren.
Yes. You know what it was? I printed on the back of the sheet. The 2-sided print sometimes gets you. So NISDOT finally released their regional targets. We've been waiting on these for a while now to start our tip development. So we got these on March 25th. The regional targets were developed without the assumption of the surface transportation authorization. My understanding is that the state put up some funding as a placeholder, and as the federal funding comes in, they'll kind of backslide that funding in there. So while the bipartisan infrastructure law provides some much needed planning stability and guaranteed funding levels, it is limited mostly to 2 categorical programs. It's a new supplemental extraordinary bridge formula program, and then the National Highway Performance Program. We were kind of hoping that the bill would have a lot of funding, but it seems to be at a higher level. So the local programs did not change too much since the last tip update. So as a reminder, targets are for planning purposes only. They do not represent a commitment of funding on behalf of that federal highway or New York State DOT. So I'm just gonna.
Lauren, can you go back
Yeah.
for a second? What do those percentage numbers refer to at the end of both those lines?
I believe the total state program. I don't know. Do you know, Sandra? This was from the guidance.
No, I'm not familiar, but maybe an increase. Sometimes when you see a percentage there, they're referring to an increase over the last bill.
Yeah, so the increase in federal funds over the 5-year period is 4.6 billion, of which 41% is the Bridge Formula Program, 28% is the National Highway Program.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
In what I've read about the infrastructure bill, there's a portion of the bridge money allocation that's supposed to go to off federal, not federal highway bridges. Is DOT planning that? And how is that going to be made available?
Well, you're probably, where it's probably going is what we refer to as the off-system bridge, which OCTC does get a portion of that for you folks to, divvy up at your discretion. That fund source is also used statewide to support Bridge New York. And like Lauren said, at the state level, they're still kind of figuring this out as far as, what years we'll see the increases in. But yeah, that is a fund source that already exists.
So you don't have any sense of what percentage goes to the Bridge New York program versus
No.
what could come to OCTC?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Lauren, continue.
I'm just going to show some of the funding levels. So first we have the Region 8. So it's estimated over the next 5 years, just about $900 billion will be invested for transportation purposes in the region, just using this funding. So there's a snapshot of the local program, which will be about 30%, and the rest will be NISDOT in the HSIP, or the Highway Safety Improvement Program, the National Highway Performance Program, or NHPP, and then the STBG Flex. And of that, if we look at the local level, this is split up between the 4 MPOs that are present in Region 8 and then Columbia County. Of those MPOs, you have NIMTIC, New York Metropolitan Transportation Council's Mid-Hudson South Transportation Coordinating Committee, the Mid-Hudson South TCC. They receive about 2/3, and that includes Westchester, Rockland, and Putnam counties. And then you have in the Mid-Hudson Valley Transportation Management Area, which is made up of Orange County Transportation Council, Ulster County Transportation Council, and the Dutchess County Transportation Council. We split about the last third with, and of that, we're getting 16%. So this,
you mean Orange County?
yeah, Orange County is getting 16% of that last,
Right.
of the total local program. And you can see that Ulster gets about 7%, Dutchess 6%, Columbia County 4%.
Great.
So we received 3 funding sources: the Congestion Management Air Quality, or CMAQ funds, the STBG Large Urban, and the STBG Off-System Bridge funding. It's approximately $40 million over the next 5 years, about $8 million per year. And the 2023 numbers include the 2022 rollover amounts in there. That's why they're not the same as the other annual allocations.
Lauren, do you know if there's any local matches or what they are? If there are local matches for this money?
Yes, they're usually about the 20%. So it's 80-20. It depends on the funding source. They each have their own rules, but.
Okay, thank you.
And local funding is not included. We're just looking at the federal allocations. So in the next 3 slides, I'm going to review the current projects for each of the funding sources. And this is just for informational purposes. And we'll get a snapshot of where projects stand now going into the next fiscal year, to help kind of facilitate the discussions on the TIP development in the coming months. So the first funding source we have is CMAQ. There are currently 4 projects on the TIP for 2023 and 2024 fiscal years. You can see in red that we're over programmed by $3 million. So we'll be reaching out to project sponsors to try to balance the projects over the next couple of fiscal years. There's one project that is currently not programming CMAQ funds, but it is eligible, and that's PIN 875875, the Newburgh traffic signal upgrades. Does anyone have any questions about this?
Any questions, anybody? Okay, keep going, Lauren.
All right, so for the STBG large urban, we currently have 6 projects that program the STBG large urban. 4 of them are programmed for 2023, 2024, and 2 are in program currently in 2022 that if they are not obligated for construction, would roll into 2023. So right now we have overages in both 2023 and 2024 for the STBG large urban.
Questions?
This is Gedalia. I wasn't in a position to speak until now. I was listening in, so I have some points for prior discussions also. But since Curtis Joel is on the list, both on CMAQ and on this program, at the appropriate time, permit me to address some of the Curtis Joel issues.
Well, you can do so right now if you like, Dave.
First, on the general point that was talked earlier, I understand this is all referring to federal funds. My last discussion with senators representing this region, the state capital plan, even though the budget was adopted, the state capital plan for transportation has not been finalized and voted on. How does the state capital plan impact the local projects? And is there a push to, one, include local projects in the state capital plan directly or indirectly by removing some of the state funding needs on the TIP onto the state capital plan, so more funding is left for the local municipalities?
Perhaps someone from State DOT can answer that?
Yeah, those are good questions, and I haven't received any guidance with respect to that. I haven't seen that happen traditionally in the past. This is a small amount of federal aid that goes directly to OCTC for discretionary purposes. There will be a lot of other programs that'll be outside of the MPO that will be discretionary based, probably statewide. So I would say for this exercise, I would do the same approach that you took for the last, TIP update and work within these planning targets for the Hudson Valley for Orange County.
But I was surprised, and that's why I'm not saying the names of the senators that I spoke to and assembly people, but they weren't, because I challenged them, why isn't there a part of the state capital plan cover some of the local project needs? And they weren't even aware that DOT has a local project unit that deals with local projects. Their understanding was that all DOT is doing is funding state highways. And I pushed them to reach out to local project units. They asked me for some names whom they could talk to in the local project unit.
I think that in the budget that was just announced, I think there are quite a number of local programs. There's a pothole program, there's Bridge New York, there's been an increase in CHIPS and Marchicelli's. So I think the information is out there. Maybe I could send Lauren the link to the executive summary for the state budget that includes some of that language.
But
that what
CHIPS
you-
and Marchicelli is all formula based. It's not a project application. It's not a competition. It's formula based. Some communities have specific needs on specific roads, similar to what we're dealing here. And it would be nice to have a non-formula based regular competition for project within the state funding as well.
Okay,
With all due respect to our state legislature officials, I think, Adaya, your best place for information is state DOT. And that's where I would direct you. Better information, probably more thorough. After this meeting, I have a meeting with NISAC, the New York State Association of Counties, on a briefing on what happened in the budget, and I'll ask about the transportation funding. If I learn anything, I'll share it with you.
Thank you. And there was a discussion earlier about the local match of 20%. That also deals with the state budget. Do we know now if the state allocated additional funding for the Marchicelli program, which is really paying off 15% of the total local match? So if Marchicelli is fully funded, then the local match on some of the programs for communities is only 5% instead of 20%.
Sandra, do you know anything on that?
well, yeah, I'll send you that link because I believe there was an increase to both programs that I mentioned. But I would
But you
need
did-
to reread it.
But you didn't mention Marchicelli. Do you know if Marchicelli was funded? And
I think I
Uh,
mentioned Marcelli's and CHIPS, and I think they both have seen an increase, but don't
okay, I
quote me.
apologize.
Again, I would have to, there's a lot of information in there, so I'm gonna send Lauren the link.
Okay. Now
Any other
specific,
questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
specifically to the Courage Joel program on CMAC, based on prior discussions on the Courage Joel Park and Ride, definitely looks like that it's not going to happen in 2023, and it may be pushed to 2024. So that may help reduce the red to at least with at least $2.3 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover that towards the end with all the project
Okay.
requests. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Gedaya, you done?
I'm done at this point, but since we're going to talk specific projects at the end, I have a few other points to make. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Lauren?
So for the last program, it's the off-system bridge. There's only currently one project, and that's the Walsh Road over Quessay Creek. It's programmed in FY 2022, so this current fiscal year. If it rolls, it will go into the 2023. Otherwise, we don't have any projects, and we should look to do a call for projects on off-system bridge. So if the committee supports that, we'll start to pull together some project solicitation criteria to be adopted by the OCTC, so we can hopefully get this rolling.
What's the target date for that?
We can discuss that. It won't be with this current new tip, but likely after the tip, shortly after the tip is adopted.
And who will initiate that? The town of New Windsor or the county or the state?
For the
Walsh Road,
call for projects,
the Walsh Road, Quessay Creek Bridge.
that's a City of Newburgh project.
Okay. Okay, any questions, anyone? Okay, Lauren, where are we going next?
Yep, so then we have, here are the current project requests we have that were not included in those tables previously. So there's currently two funding requests from the City of Middletown on their traffic operation pins. 1.8 million for construction and 1.8 million for construction inspection. This project is CMAQ eligible. So I don't know, Jacob, if you're driving, so I don't know if you want to say anything right now.
No, I'm not driving. I pulled in this area,
Okay.
Lauren, so I can hear you. I'm available to answer any questions. We discussed in great details the first request, which is for construction. The project came in higher than what was expected by $1.8 million. So that's what our construction funds requested. The second request is when we were negotiating with our consultants for construction inspection, and they had to meet the DOT rigid requirements for inspections. How many engineers they have, how much staff they're gonna have, how many inspectors they're gonna have on the job. The numbers unfortunately added up very quickly to around $2.4 million. So we already had almost $700,000 programmed for it. So we have a deficit of $1.8 million in there for construction inspection. And that's really, it's not made, I have WSP with us on the phone, on the meeting. It's not really their doing, it's just a requirement that they had to meet the DOT requirement for staffing. The proposal started, around $2.9 million. It's not only WSP, it's their consultants, their subcontractors. And we negotiated that down to about $2.4 million. So we had to cut some staffing, go back and forth, and so on and so forth. So we did not take that number and say, okay, here it is, guys, give us more money to help us out to fund it. We did negotiate with them back and forth, and that's where we ended up. Katie from WSP, did I present this correctly with the numbers?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
I'm on
So that's
also.
where we are. Yeah.
Go ahead, Al.
So yeah, so Al, basically Al, he's a subcontractor for WSP, Al Fusco Engineering, and WSP themselves, they are the prime contractor. Basically, they agreed with the numbers I presented to you guys.
Al, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew I was on because I got on a little late, Harry. Thank you.
No, we see your beautiful face right there.
Thank you.
We're watching you. Okay, Lauren, next.
So, as we're going forward, any overages, we would, with the council's approval, in the past, they've set aside the funding for project needs, current project needs. So is that something as we develop the tip that any leftover funding from the fiscal year 23 and 24 would go to the project sponsor requests?
Yeah, this is Jacob again. That's what we've always done in the past, yes.
Anybody else? Okay, Lori.
Okay, so for the next, there's a current project request from the Village of Curious Joel. They've indicated that that it's not feasible to go forward with PIN 876142, which is the expansion of the current Bakertown Road Park and Ride. They're proposing a new project at a park and ride lot on Forest Road and Garfield Road. We sent them the updated CMAQ solicitation to the village, and so I believe they're filling that out now. So we'll have more understanding of what the project is and what the project needs are. But it was indicated at the last meeting. Well, I guess that is a request. So once we have that information, we can add that on for informational purposes and present that to the OCTC council. So as I said, it still needs a determination whether it is eligible for CMAQ funding.
Let me just clarify. We had a CMAQ line for a park and ride extension, and we're proposing a new CMAQ line for a park and ride extension. The only difference is the location, which park and ride is going to get the phase 2, whether it's going to be the Bakertown Road or the Forest Road. We originally proposed to just change the location because the distance between the two park and rides is maybe a half a mile or mile, and the funding is there for a park and ride extension. It was the staff recommending withdrawing one and applying for a new one, and that's exactly what we're following. We're withdrawing one park and ride extension and applying for a new park and ride extension.
Great, Lauren, that should be more helpful to them, don't you think?
I'm sorry,
Do you
Harry?
think that'll be more helpful to KJ to be able to switch those around like that?
Well,
No,
it
that
is a-
we're
it is a
fine.
different location, so just based on, the federal guidelines, it is a different project, so it does need a different pin. So that's not staff, that's just the guidelines and requirements. So it is a different lot that they are looking, there's an existing parking lot that they're looking to expand at a different location. So that would be why.
But we're fine with the project. We're not complaining. We're filling out the paperwork. I just wanted to clarify that there is a way people in government look at things, and there's a way for laymen to look at things. From a layman's perspective, is instead of enlarging one park and ride, we're doing the others. This is not a brand new project, and this is not brand new funding. But from a governmental point of view, we're going to follow the steps as outlined by the guidelines.
Yeah, unfortunately with governmental funding, it always comes with those, guidelines and rules and stuff like that. So, but
Okay.
Hey, Gedalia, are
If-
you
if I
layman
may-
or are you a government point of view?
What is it?
Are you a layman point of view or a government point of view? You personally?
When I present things, I try to present it in simple terms.
Okay. That
If
must
I
be
may,
layman,
Harry.
layman then.
Harry, this is Jacob. I don't know if you guys can hear me still.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. So, Gedalia, what's your timing for the new project? You're canceling one, and what's the timing for the new project? When would you need the fund for the project you are?
I mentioned earlier, Jake, thanks for reminding. I mentioned earlier when we were on the chart of CMAQ that we definitely can push it off for 2024. So to take the current CMAQ out of the red. I mentioned that earlier, and thank you for reminding me.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So Jacob, are you proposing that the design work would take place in 2023 and then you'll be prepared for construction in 2024?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Lauren?
okay. And the last project request that we received was for the town of Warwick, which Mike Sweden's already covered. There's a possible, I know he's looking at different alternatives, but he has put in a request for funding. So there is that possibility as well. So we'll keep that in consideration, and Supervisor Sweden can let us know his preferred path forward.
Just as an addendum, we were talking about the donation that the county received of 22 acres in the town of Warwick. It's on the southeast of Bull Road in the town of Warwick, section 54, lot 1, block 22. I don't know if that helps you or not, Michael.
And I'll take a look at it, Harry. I don't know if it's close enough to this or not.
Okay. All right.
Lauren, Lauren, I just want to mention one thing is that it's important to keep in mind that it's nice to know when a project is eligible for the more restrictive CMAQ funding, but you do also have the STP urban. So usually if a project is eligible for CMAQ, it's definitely eligible for the urban too.
Okay, great.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're over-programmed though for SCV after urban, but yes.
Sure, but people are going to have to make some hard, realistic decisions. You do have though quite a bit of funds in 25, 26, and 27. So that should definitely be in play too.
It's good to know. It's good to know. Lauren, are you finished now or?
Almost. So next steps, so we'll follow up with the project sponsors on the project timelines. We did have meetings in January, so we'll just have some follow-up on where projects are at, especially if they're set for construction this year, whether or not they'll be able to make that timeline or if they will need to roll. And also if any projects need to shift out from 23 and 24 to 25 to help with the fiscal constraint. We'll prepare a draft tip worksheet, hopefully, for the committee for the next meeting. As a reminder, we do need to show fiscal constraint. We also need to account for inflation per fiscal year. It's kind of a recommendation just because of all the overages we've had. So if that's okay with the committee, we will include, we got the estimated inflation as part of the HIP-STIP update guidance, and we can apply that to projects in the future years.
Okay, any questions or comments from anyone?
Sorry, I'm so almost, Terry. So there's a few elements that come with the tip update that we need to start. It includes a tip narrative. We also, because we're in the PM 2.5 maintenance area, we also have to go through transportation conformity process. So we will start that process. We're waiting on the regional capital program, so we still need those projects. But also we'll reach out to partner agencies following this meeting and ask about regionally significant projects because that's important for the conformity process. And then finally, we propose starting the development of project solicitation framework for future calls for projects. So the final timeline, and we'll discuss this more towards the staff reports, but we also have to complete a self-certification, and that needs to be adopted by July 13th. So we'll present that in June and hopefully adopt at a July meeting. Because of the transportation conformity, our schedule is pushed back to match NIMTIC's public comment period and their adoption schedule. So we will look to adopt the tip narrative and the air quality conformity process at an August meeting, possibly August 9th, and then we'll present that at the July 5th meeting. So it will likely be a back-to-back planning and policy board meeting in July. So a lot going on this summer. So
That's what we know.
yeah, exactly. And then we have.
Okay, well, thank you, Lauren. Is there any question at all for Lauren on any of the matters she just briefed us on? Now is the time.
The requests for new project, is that going to be limited to a single program like CMAQ, or it's going to be for any projects?
The solicitation framework, project solicitation framework. Yeah, we haven't done a call for projects, so we don't have any project framework currently. So we will update that and we can apply questions for specific programs. We'll look to implement the Bridge New York first, or sorry, not Bridge New York, the off-system bridge funding first. And then depending on the tip development process, we can possibly look to do calls for the other funding sources in the future.
Anybody else?
Hey, Harry, this is Jacob.
Yes.
On a positive note, I just want to compliment Alan and Lauren, really your team there for you have a tremendous change in staff and turnover and all that stuff. They carried the ball and ran with it. Very well organized and very well presentation that they prepared for us, and great job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. That's much appreciated, I gotta tell you. And Lauren,
Yeah, and I
you did
want
a
to
great job.
compliment Lauren too for stepping up. And
Okay. The next item is actually Alan's going to present us of the Orange County Transportation Council voting member for the Newburgh urbanized area, town rep.
yeah, I had spoken with Brian Marr, who was the current rep for the Newburgh urbanized area, and he expressed to me that being that his schedule is what it is, that he had asked to step down, which created the vacancy. So I reached out to Brian George Myers from Newburgh, Gil Claudio from Newburgh, and Josh Wachowski from town of Cornwall. Reached out to each of them, asked them to reach consensus on a new appointment, and they wrote back confirming their support for Josh Wachowski from the town of Cornwall to replace Brian Meyer, and hope finish out his remaining term that will end at the end of this year.
Okay, any questions on any of this?
I think Josh may
Josh
be
is
on
with
the
us
call, so
today?
I'd like to welcome him.
Yes, I see him. Yes, welcome, Joshua.
Yes, hi, thank you. And it's Wojciechowski.
Wojciechowski.
Wojciechowski, thank you. I was going to ask.
Okay.
Welcome.
Anything else, Alan?
Not on this particular topic.
Okay, then we'll move on to number 7, Orange County OCTC staff reports. Alan, you're up again with the West Central TLC study update.
Yes. This is a study that's was initiated, I believe, in 2019. Purpose of the study was to improve the movement of transportation network of people and goods in the mid and western municipalities of Orange County. It was kind of the area of the county that was never really thoroughly studied. There were 3 technical components of this study: countywide active transportation network, corridor improvements, and the Middletown and intra-county transit, assessing how well the transit serves the population within the city of Middletown and intra-county. We have a working draft of the report that has been submitted by the consultants, Ally King, Rose, and Fleming. Their subs on the project included Barton and Judas and Cambridge Systematics. Our transit and transportation teams are thoroughly reviewing the document. There's been a lot of back and forth, but it is coming into a draft that in the coming weeks we propose to first share with the study advisory group members for their review and comment, and then we will then submit it to the Transportation Council at an upcoming meeting, and propose to allow for 2 weeks of review of the draft, and we'll be soliciting your comments on that draft document as well. I again just want to accommodate my team for digging in, doing a very thorough review, providing some excellent input and feedback on the draft study, and in the coming months we'll be before you to provide a presentation of some of the findings.
Okay, any comments or questions? And we will move on to Lauren on the save the date.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, this is going to be a very kind of busy OCTC season the next couple of months. So we have a tentative meeting schedule. It is subject to change. We have a few other federally and state mandated things that we need to adopt likely in the coming months. So any changes to the schedule will be sent out to OCTC members via email, and we'll go out with the 7 days public notice. So tentatively, we'll have planning committee meetings in May and June, and that will go mostly over the TIP development process. If we need to have any meetings in between that, we can also do that. We'll schedule those. We're proposing a back-to-back planning and policy board meeting on July 5th. I know that's the day after July 4th, so everyone will be in barbecue mode, but we likely have to adopt some TIP amendment if we have any 5310 projects and the self-certification, and then we'll have to present the TIP and the conformity determination. So that will be a busy meeting, and then tentatively adopting the TIP and the air quality conformity at a policy board meeting on August 9th. And then we also have to adopt some performance measures, the CMAQ performance measures. And so there will likely be a policy board meeting in September as well.
Okay, any questions for Lauren?
Is there any
Uh,
plans to meet in person?
We could do
Yeah.
that.
So we'll continue to meet virtually as long as the New York State Declaration of Emergency is in place. We can shift over in person if the council wants that. We can have the hybrid meetings as well. Is that something that you guys want to start having again?
Yes.
I would, since I would have a combination for people that want to be in person should be in person. People that want to join on Zoom should have the option of joining on Zoom.
Well, Lauren,
I
let me ask
agree.
you, what is the voting requirements? If the state changes its position and we have to meet in person, can somebody remotely
I
coming in?
believe you should look into the state budget. I believe there was language in the current budget that gave the option for the next 24 months to meet virtually, but doesn't mandate to meet virtually. So I believe it's going to be optional, but someone should study that, how it impacts this committee.
All right, we'll look at that. We'll look at that. I'd like to see
Yeah, there-
everybody in person sometime soon, but we'll do what we have to do.
We do follow open meetings law, and per open meetings law, there's a few advisory opinions that came out on MPOs. So the rule is that if you can vote virtually, but your location would be a meeting location, and you would have to allow the public there if they wanted to be there. There's been, obviously, that was before COVID and the situation we're in now. And I know there's been some questions about people not wanting, they're doing the call from their home. They don't want people to be able to come to the home. So there's been some advisory opinions about that. If you are voting though, you do need to, because the public needs to be able to watch and witness and see their voting representatives. You're supposed to have your camera on if you're voting virtually. Those are just some of the notes. This is all changing a lot, as Gedalia said. So if we do hold, and when we hold the hybrid options, we can send out the most recent advisory opinions and guidance for members.
Lauren, why don't you plan on giving us an update on all of these matters at the next planning meeting in May?
Okay. I'll do that.
Great. And then we go to other member reports, and I'll ask Lizzie from the Thruway Authority. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Did you say my name?
I said, Lizzie, do you have anything you want to share with us from the Thruway Authority?
Yeah, when I was reading the slide for permanent voting members, I see, like, I read Stephen Grabowski's name in that list. Please remove that and write Brent Howard. He's the director. His name is shown as an alternate.
Can you send that to me in an email, Lizzie, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I may attend the May 10 meeting. And after that, I'm planning to retire in third week of May. So I will write an email to you.
Okay,
Lizzie,
anything
just
else,
for
Lizzie?
clarification, Josh would not be a permanent voting member, but he's a voting member for the towns. That rotates every few years.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Lizzie. Sandra or Nicole? Steve
No,
Peters?
thank you. Just the update that I gave earlier. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. MTA Olu, are you still with us?
May we ask DOT for an update on the 17 improvements, widening, interchange? We spent a lot of time on during the last months of public hearings and workshops. Is that making any progress?
Yeah, I can look into that and get an update.
Yeah, I
Thank
saw
you.
the press release about 1786. Some monies are going to be available for that as well. Anything on that would be helpful too. Okay, Olu from MTA.
Yes, thank you. Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's see, Rob Parrington from our planning department.
Sure, we have a lot of planning projects going on currently, including the triennial review with the FTA, excuse me, which is going on for the next couple months. Alan and I have been in the city of Newburgh looking at the bus shelters on Broadway to move that project along. I've been working with Travis at DPW about the Warwick Park and Ride lot, both the temporary repair to the lighting and an overhaul that we have a grant for. And staff here with Allison working on Scunnamunk Trails, another big project we're working on. So there's a lot of things going on currently at transit. We're pretty busy.
Okay, thank you. And
May I ask a transit question?
Yes, go ahead.
Rob would witness that the Kershaw Transit jumped from about 120,000 passengers per year to about 500,000 passengers per year. And Bob is working with us very diligently, trying to accommodate the expansion of services. I know we ordered some buses. We haven't talked about transit on the tip, but as the tip would be developed, we're going to talk about more buses being ordered both for park and ride and fixed route. Bob, can you give us an update on the ordered buses, when those are going to be ready for delivery?
Yeah, it hasn't changed since the last time we spoke. You're getting 5 buses this year. There'll be 3 Dial buses in this summer, and then 2 more Gillick buses, which are transit buses, this summer as well. And then we're writing a grant for additional buses for the future as needed.
Thank you.
We should probably note that our county transit people have also been working with the city of Newburgh, trying to examine their current operation and various ways of how to improve it. And thank you for that, Rob.
You're welcome.
Harry, this is Jacob, if I may.
Yes.
Rob, you're doing some assessment for the bus shelters in Middletown too, right?
We're going to get to those as well. Yeah, we're stretched a little thin right now. We're not at that point, but that is will happen in the future. We'll also be looking at the bus routes in Middletown this year, which you'll be made aware of that when we have various public outreach meetings and such.
Rob, anything else you want to share?
No, I'm good. That's plenty.
All right, then let me go to Travis Seawall from Orange County DPW.
Sorry, Harry, my computer was a little slow responding. Heritage Trail Segment 2, we're just finishing that up. There's some bridge railing that the subcontractor is completing. We expect to have that open in the next couple of weeks. That would be the final segment of Section 2, which is from Palmer to East Main Street. Heritage Trail Segment 3, we're working on the design. Our consultant expects to have the design report submitted by the end of May, and we'll be working towards having our right-of-way incidentals wrapped up. Otisville Viaduct project, which is an older Bridge New York project. We're working on acquiring our final piece of property for that, and we anticipate being authorized to go out to bid early summer for that project, which hopefully will be demolition and beginning of construction fall of this year, and completion of construction in 2023.
Okay. All right, is there any other report from any of our members? Any questions, Alan or Lauren?
Harry, just one thing I wanted to add, unless there was a question from the member first.
Well, I wanted to ask a question from DOT. I know there's months since communities applied for the TAP program. Any idea when announcements will be made?
I'm so sorry. I don't have anything. And honestly, I will probably hear the news when you hear the news.
I see. So it's coming from headquarters, from...
Yes, it's coming out of our Albany office.
I see. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Harry, just one thing. I'm just wondering if there's been any updates with respect to, I was on a call with our TMA counterparts over in Dutchess and Ulster. And a question came up of the section 5307 urbanized area when we may get information on the whack up. Is there any updates on that?
I have none.
I don't have any information on that, no. But we can reach out to our Albany office, the transit unit.
If you could, Sandra, appreciate that. Harry, the only other update, this is really for a future meeting, but so just every 4 years, the TMA undergoes certification review by the Federal Highway Administration and the Federal Transit Administration. Our most recent review occurred in the fall of last year. We have received some preliminary comments. We did receive, OCTC received accommodation for the development of the public participation plan. And so that's a very positive note. There are some recommendations provided in the draft letter to us. And there may be one corrective action with respect to the long-range transportation plan, financial plan. However, we've collectively, as the TMA, submitted a letter back to Federal Highway and FTA, asking them to reassess that. But we haven't received the final report yet. So when we do, Lauren and I will report back to the council, and just to keep you informed and up to date.
Okay. Lauren, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then I'll just say Joshua Wojciechowski, I got that right. Welcome to our team. Look forward to working with you. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion, Harry Jacob here.
Thank you. Second,
Second, John Rivella.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Harry.
See you in May.
Thank you.
Lauren, thank you. Harry?
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Lauren, good job.
Thank you. Can't exit. I stop.
I'll leave the meeting. I'll pop over and we can debrief, but good
Okay.
meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, talk to you soon.